Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We are here with Tequila again, and I just wanted to go over something that is actually a really necessary skill if you are going to have any dog, really, but especially if you are going to have a large breed like Tequila. So Tequila is a Great Pyrenees. She's a livestock guardian. A lot of our livestock guardian dogs are really, really big, okay? So what you want to do is leash train. Leash training is essential. So why is leash training essential? You're never going to leave the farm, right? Do you really need a leash? Yes. Come here, baby. Yes, you need a leash. Okay, absolutely you need a leash. Because what happens here is, one, you're going to have to take her off the farm sometimes. You might have to take her to the groomer, take her to the vet. You're going to have to do something that doesn't involve staying on the farm all the time. But how about on the farm? On the farm, you also need a leash, okay? Because you want to have some basic leash skills, just basic leash skills. I'm not saying your dog has to be able to perfectly heel, perfectly walk on lead. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you need is some basic leash skills, because you're going to need to use your leash and your leash skills to introduce your puppy. Remember, we're talking puppies, under 6 months old in most cases when you bring home your dog. So we're talking puppies. You want to be able to introduce your puppies to the animals on your farm. And if they haven't grown up with those particular animals, then you are going to need to introduce them. And one of the ways you want to introduce them is by using the leash to control your dog. So Whiskey's here. He's not wearing a leash. I don't even know where Whiskey's leash is. So the first thing you need is a leash. Now, if we're talking for training, you do not want one of those extended leashes. No, no, no. Now, I love extended leashes, and we have one, but for training, they're not good. They don't give you very much control. So what you want is just a regular leash. It can be nylon, it can be leather. Tequila, come here. Thank you. But it can be nylon, it can be leather, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a dependable, strong, standard leash. So this is just a nylon one, and this is really just a puppy one. I don't have a lot of thick leashes because I don't use them. I only use them in puppyhood and then occasionally when we're going to the vet. Once you've mastered some basic leash skills, you don't really need to use your leash that often. You don't really need to invest in a more expensive big one. Because remember, your livestock guardians don't really leave the farm a lot. To be fair, he doesn't really leave the farm a lot either. He's a big bum. Anyway, so basic leash skills that you want to practice. First thing you have to do, collar. You need a collar. So I don't like slip leads on puppies. Okay, don't use slip leads and things like choke collars and stuff on puppies under 6 months unless you have real professional guidance, because it can actually damage them. So no slip leads for puppies and no choke collars at all. Not on dogs this age. So what you want to get, we just want to get a nice wide, so she's just got this nice wide, this is actually a silicone collar. Nice wide silicone collar. You want to be able to get a couple of fingers in there. I can get a lot of fingers in there right now because she's going to grow into this one. I removed the smaller red collar that she was wearing in previous videos. And now we have just this bigger blue collar that she will grow into. So it's still a little bit big, but it doesn't really matter for the purposes of leash training. So if your puppy has never had a collar on when you bring them home, the collar is the first step. Something secure, something that you can grab if you need to. And you want to get that collar on your puppy and then leave that collar on your puppy for about a day. The puppy might freak out a little bit if they have never worn a collar. She had never worn a collar when we first got her. We've had her a few weeks now, so she's had plenty of experience with the collar now. But when we first got the collar, what happened was she was freaking out. So because she was freaking out, we had to leave the collar on her for a full day. So get the collar on and leave it on for a full day if they're a little bit nervous. Okay? The next day, get your leash, attach it to the collar, and let them just wander around your house dragging the leash behind them. Okay? Dragging just their standard leash. That'll get them a little more used to the leash because she wasn't used to that either. Now, if you're lucky, the puppy you've got has been exposed to leashes and collars from puppyhood, from the breeder that you got them from. She wasn't. So we didn't have that. We had to start from scratch. But if your puppy has had exposure to collars and leashes, then you're doing much better. So once your dog is used to collars and leashes, let's move him back over here. Tequila, you don't care. You're sniffing my shoes. My shoes don't smell like anything. Well, they probably do. Anyway, so once your dog is used to collars and leashes, what you want to do is start just walking around with them. So when you're holding the leash, you want, no, thank you. But you want to keep them at your side. You don't want like lots of tension in the leash. You don't want to be like, oh, walking around, dragging your dog like that. Don't do that. That's not helpful. So what you want to do is relax, figure out how much leash you need. So what I like to do is pull up to about my armpit, then clasp my leash just over my hand. I don't wrap it around because if something happens, I want to be able to drop that lead. But then I just rest it in my hand and just grip it like so and drop it. This is how much lead I want to give her. With the rest of the lead, you can either also hold that in your hand, or I tend to hold it across my body like so. Okay, so you can hold that however you want. But nice, loose grip. Just have your dog kind of follow you around on the lead. Okay, just basic following you. If they have trouble at first, that's because they have never done it before. So if they have trouble, you just keep walking. Okay, you just keep walking. You turn, you go wherever you want. She's pretty used to this now. I don't care whether she's on your left or your right side. It doesn't matter. Okay, left, right, doesn't matter. There goes the cat. Doesn't matter whether she's on your left or right side, because remember, we're not talking about obedience trials or competition or anything like that. We're talking about controlling your dog around the farm and at the vets or groomers. Yeah, good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. Lots of praise, lots of love. We love Tequila. Yes. So we just need to get her used to the leash. So you just walk around gently. Okay, you don't have to scream at her. If she is moving in a direction you don't like, move up beside her and go sideways. Okay, what you don't want to do, you don't want to be pulling back. So the second I pull back with the leash, when I pull back like this, she's going to move forward. Okay, and then what happens is she's actually doing exactly what I don't want her to do. She's struggling against the leash. So if you have to correct in any way, you go sideways. So if I want her to not look at the cat, which I want her to stop looking at that cat right now, I go sideways. Okay? Pull her off balance. You don't pull back. So I don't want to see you pull like this. That's not going to help you. Either pull to the side or get that collar right up behind the ears and pull up. If you pull back, you're just creating tension. Your dog wants to go because you're saying no. And so then the dog wants to go and you're saying no. So you don't want to do that with her because you do not want to develop bad habits. So gently, gently, again, doesn't matter which side. We're going to go on this side now. Gently, gently, come Tequila. And we just got, thank you. You can have a correction sound. So with us, it can be hey or whatever sound you like. So I tend to say hey or ah. And then she just comes back because she's starting to figure out what I want. And I can let her go a little further if I want. Tequila. Oh, look out. We just knocked something over. We're good. We're fine. Don't worry about it. You're okay. So you just want to keep light, loose grip on the leash. If you need her to come and she's not because she's kind of fixating right now, sideways. There we go. Good girl. And then she knows how good she is. So leash training is something you have to do every day. And it just needs to be really basic, okay? You don't need a lot of skills. You just need to be able to walk nicely on the leash and control your dog through the leash. So I never put tension on my leash unless I'm correcting. So unless I'm popping to the side or popping up, I never put tension on the leash. I use my voice and my body to tell her what I want. So I'll go, Tequila, come. Good girl. So I don't put tension on the leash. Sometimes there's a little pop, And then she comes back to my side. Good girl, what a good dog. And that teaches her where she should be when she's on the leash. Again, it doesn't matter. Left, right, I don't know why you're doing that, but okay. Left, right, it doesn't matter. As long as she respects the leash and she learns that she needs to do what you want her to do while she's on the leash. However you do that is fine. All right? So there's a dozen different ways to teach a dog to walk nicely on a leash. All we do is we just need to be able to go to the vet, go to the groomer, and introduce your dog to baby chicks or baby bunnies or whatever you have. Now, with most livestock guardian breeds, they're already predisposed to being good with the animals, so it's not that big a deal. They're not always predisposed to walking on a leash, so you may have to practice this a little bit. Some dogs are particularly resistant to the lead. She's not. She's been very good. And to be honest, I haven't worked on the lead as much as I should have, but she is very, very good, despite me not working on the leash as much as we should have, because usually she's off lead, running around like a crazy dog. Because we love crazy dogs. Yes, we do. Tequila, come. Good girl. Come here. Good girl. Tequila, come. Yes, good girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. See, we have not done... Here's Whiskey. He's brought a ball. So we haven't done this as much as we should. And I don't want her fixating on the ball right now. Tequila, no. So we don't put tension on the leash even when she's doing something undesirable. We just let it go. And I would not recommend wrapping your leash around your hand because these are going to be big dogs. If something ever happens and you need to be able to drop the leash, and I'm having trouble dropping the leash because it's stuck. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to drop the leash in a second. So if it's just resting over your hand like this, like that, and you're gripping like this, then you can immediately when you need to, Tequila, come here. Thank you. There goes Whiskey again. Sorry, it's not really fair. She's on a lead and he's not. It's not really fair, but too bad. So if I need to drop the lead and I'm holding it like this, I can immediately drop this lead and step on it if I need to. Come here, baby. Good girl. But holding it that way means that you're able to drop it immediately if you have to. All right? It's kind of chilly out here. Might need to go get an even bigger sweater because it's kind of chilly. So, Tequila. Good girl. So remember, when you are working on the leash, make the leash a pleasant experience. Never use the end of the leash to smack your dog. That's not nice. And it will only make her fear the leash. So the leash has to be a lot of fun. Tequila, come. Good girl. So a lot of fun, a lot of rubs, a lot of excitement. Make the leash a happy experience so that your dog does not have to get all worked up every time you see the leash. Tequila, come. Sorry. This way. I know, you thought we were going that way. Come. So, nice, loose leash. Okay, it's a good idea to have... Don't lick my feet. Dog's licking my feet now. But nice, loose leash. Very, very gentle. Just some few basic pointers. It doesn't really matter that much because you're only training a livestock dog. You are not doing competitive. All she needs to do is be able to respect the lead. So that's all you need your girl to do, or your boy. I say girl because mine happens to be a girl. So if you're training a boy, sorry. I'm saying she because Tequila is a girl. So you need your dog to be able to respect the leash. You need your dog to be able to move with confidence on the leash. So sometimes the best way to do that, Tequila, come, is to have your dog by your side. I know I'm a little bit off screen. That's okay. So have your dog by your side and simply go, Tequila, let's go, and start walking. And then you get to the other side, and it's again, Tequila, let's go. Good girl. Tequila, let's go. And you just start walking. Good dog. Good girl. Come here. Good girl. That's a good dog. That's the best dog. So that's the best way to build confidence. Thank you, Whiskey. Good boy. Just a good boy, Whiskey. Good girl, Tequila. Good doggies. Good doggies. Always take a minute to praise your doggies. Always. They need praise. Take a minute. Praise your doggies. And Whiskey has a cut on the side of his eye. And it's very sad. We don't know how he did that, but he did. So, take a minute to praise your doggies when they're doing well, because they like being praised, because they're good doggies. Yes, they're good doggies. So, good dogs, lots of praise, lots of love. So, make it a fun experience, and if you want to build confidence with your dog, go for a walk, because that's what we do. We go for a walk, use the leash when you want to encourage good leash behavior. Don't yell and scream at them when they do it wrong. Just show them how to do it right. So she's doing exactly what I want her to do, which is just stay near me while I'm holding on to the leash. She doesn't need to do anything fancy. She just needs to respect that I've got her on a leash. So that's about it for us here at Andersen Acres. We will see you tomorrow.